Ahí la lucha, ¿y usted?
Igual.
¿Cuántos ha cerrado? ¿Cuántos tienen eso?
No tengo nada de eso. Tengo dos aquí. No quieren comprar.
Oh, eso ya es bueno. If you got something in the pipeline, eso ya es bueno.
Yeah, free food.
Ah, that's Great.
Yeah, there's been like how long do I think? Technically, yeah. I haven't talked about paper. I know, I was called.
Yeah, we're going to be president distinguished.
I'm going to my voice shakes when I talk. You didn't never see me talking in front of people.
I haven't, but here's the reality. Everybody can become a better. It doesn't matter where you're at.
I do these meetings in LA for my other business.
What other business? Korean? I did not know that.
Well, I learned to go to and I come in class and I start talking to
Tell me about it.
So I don't know all these people, right? Here, because I know everybody, it's like.
It's more intimidating when you know everybody. Interesting.
So I did my speech last week on that issue.
Oh, there you go. We have a standing invitation as my guest, KW Toastmasters, any Monday night you wish. But if you want to speak, you have to be a member. Which is going to cost a little bit of money. It's like $100 for the entire year.
It was free before.
No, we're not making any money. It was never free. Toastmasters, the organization charges
Alright guys.
a prorated amount. Right now it's $30.
Hello. Are you guys enjoying your food? I'm sorry to interrupt. Chicken time. Very jealous. One of the hardest things about this course I see, the other day I taught this class in Santa Clarita and everybody was eating cheeseburgers. And I was like, really guys? And they were like, just grab one. And I'm like, can you imagine if I'm like, the 7 steps is, hold on, burger, right? Like, no. So anyways, I want to bring up, also before I bring up songs, I'm Elizabeth. I'm hosting 7 Steps to 10 Listings today. I'll dive deeper on myself, why I'm here in a minute. First, I want to bring up Dawn with First American Home Warranty, our lunch sponsor. She made it all from scratch.
Things are wonderful, but I brought you lunch. Balance it out. I feed you, listings will feed you, right? So, Dawn Verbal, First American Home Warranty. I think I know everybody in the room. Some of you who got here early were fortunate enough to get a folder with some of the marketing materials that we offer free to our agents. Today's the first day of summer. Hey! I am officially everybody's best friend. Now that summer has started because your air conditioning claims and questions come to me. Not all of them, 80. We're going to get better. If you need me, if you have questions regarding the claim for your plan, I'm going to ask in the summer months, you text me. Okay? I'm on my phone all day. Like if you call, it'll go to voicemail. I'm on the phone. Text me if you need me. If you need door hangers for your open house, those are free. Text me out like a magic, they'll appear in front of you. The person next to you might have one of these. Take a look at it. All sorts of free marketing materials. Again, I'm emphasizing the word free to help you grow your business. It's the perfect time, you guys, to have open houses. Open houses are a gold mine of opportunity for you. Take advantage of that. Hold an open house every weekend.
How much are those?
These are free. Wow. Not for you. Lunch. No, it's free for you. So, if you need something, email me, text me, call me. Take a look at the items. Let me know what I can do to help you grow your business. That's my job. All right? I appreciate you guys. Pay close attention. Get lots of listening. Thank you.
you guys for having me. So the reason I am here teaching 7 steps to 10 listings in a month, has anybody, before I dive into that actually, has anybody taken this class before or seen it at family reunion? Ooh. So if I mess up, you guys won't know. That's perfect. So this class, is anybody familiar with Cody Gibson? A couple of you, okay. So he is one of our most sought after bowl coaches on the West Coast. West Coast, see, messed up already. West Coast. He is frequently on stage with Gary Keller at Family Reunion. A couple years in a row, he has taught this class at Family Reunion, standing room only. Like literally, one of his regional directors, was on the wall like a friggin' sardine this last year. So it definitely always, for lack of a better phrase, sells out. So I'm excited to share it with you guys. Who we are and who I am. So the mother of Albus Dumbledog. All the other regional directors have about their family and their kids on there, so I thought I'd throw up Albus Dumbledog. Former assistant team leader of Keller Williams Westlake Village and Keller Williams Hollywood Hills. Also former Market Center mentor and productivity coach, and now I am Cody's regional director for our expansion team, United Home Group, and I oversee the majority of Southern California. A little quick background on UHG, and then I'll retouch on us later on very briefly, since I know you guys are here primarily to learn how to take more listings. Founded in 2012, currently actually in 127 locations as of today, and over 260 partners with us, and over 990 families served in 2018. Okay, so I start with this because the topic of the class is obviously 7 steps to 10 listings in a month. And the first question people always have, whether I'm physically in front of them teaching the class or they see it posted on social media, etc., they're always like, Elizabeth, how long is that going to take me? And the one thing I want you guys to take away from this is it doesn't matter. Raise your hand if you knew, if you implemented the steps that I'm going to go over today, that 6 months from today to the date, you would be having 10 listings in a month. Would you start today? Yes. Like those of you that aren't raising your hand, I'm just going to assume your chicken is that wonderful. So that's the one thing I stress. And a lot of what I will talk about within the next 40-45 minutes or so is going to be really just based on changing your mindset and changing your habits. A lot of this is really just habit stacking. So who in here regularly takes a listing per month? Okay. Who in here regularly takes 2 listings per month? Okay. Has anybody in here gone from the listing a month or no listings a month to where you have that 1 month where you have 3 or 4 listings and you're just like, holy bejeebers, and you do something crazy, like for example, forget to put it in the MLS, forget to put a sign in the yard? I've been there. Sometimes we're there, we know how crazy being a realtor is. Sometimes we're there when we have the 1 listing and we're like, oh, yeah, I should probably put that on the MLS so people can actually see the home. That might be a good idea. So when you guys start taking the steps to get 10 listings in a month, you're going to feel just like this guy. Which this was literally me on the way here today trying to get through traffic. So actual photo of myself there. So the one thing that I can't rid of for you guys when you are taking the 7 steps towards 10 listings in a month is distractions and expectations. I've found through my own real estate business, through teaching this course, through coaching and mentoring others, one of the biggest things that hold people back is their expectations. So that's why I can't stress enough. It doesn't matter when your 10 listings in a month are going to show up. It's just about stacking the right habits today. Because I found when I do coach people one-on-one, they get this mindset of, Elizabeth, I've been doing this for 2-3 months. What's wrong with me? And I'm like, no. Keep going. And I found so many people give up right when they're on that cusp of breaking through and building their listings each month. Because who would be happy if you started stacking the habits that I'm going to go over, if next month, say it's not 10 listings, but say you have 2 listings, just from simple habits that I'm going to go over. Would you guys be happy about that? Yeah. Yeah. You'd buy more El Pollo Loco. So on average, we have found that when people follow these 7 steps rigorously, they do start taking more listings in 4 to 6 months on average. Of course, there's always those weirdos, and I hate them too, that will start this today and then they'll have 5 more listings next month. If you guys are that person, don't tell me because it was never me and I won't like you. So step 1, make 1 listing appointment every day no matter what. Whenever I say this, there's always like that, like, can somebody get her out of here? She's nuts. Yeah, a little bit, maybe. However, this again is about habit stacking. The reason you want to set 1 listing appointment every day is, again, raise your hand if if you've had multiple listing appointments in 1 week, say you have 4 and 3 of them cancel. Have you guys been there? Just me? Okay, cool. You're like this guy.
Yeah.
So exactly. So the reason why we want to set more appointments is because they're not all going to pan out into the physical appointment or into the actual listing. So I want you guys to switch your mindset every time you go into the office or your home office to, okay, there is a listing appointment somewhere on my desk today, and my job is to uncover it. For some of you mystical creatures in here, it's going to be on call 3 that you're like, boom, appointment. I am the next Cody Gibson. I'm going to teach that class. I'm going to take over my market center. And then there's going to be some of you that it's going to be call 50, and you're going to be like, Elizabeth was a freaking liar. This cannot be done. I promise you it can. Some days are going to be hard. Some days are going to be easy. So if you guys are taking notes, I want you to write this down. Lead generation can find you a sale, and lead follow-up can build you a business. Can you go back? Go back. Someone say go back. Oh, yeah, sure. And then also, if I skip forward and you guys can't write quick enough or snap a picture, I'll stick around when I'm done to do a Q&A and also give you my cards so I can email you these slides too, so you guys can have it tangible as well.
I will.
I did it.
That's how long it takes me.
Yeah.
All right, just.
And I can email it to you guys too, I promise. Okay, so where I also want you to flip your mindset is if you don't set that listing appointment that day, you're going to stay at the office until you do, even if it means bringing a sleeping bag. Where I've found agents really get successful with this habit is having accountability. So whether you guys are on a team, whether you're with a productivity coach, a maps coach, just a friend in the office, put out there that your intention is an appointment every day. I can tell you guys, the people that I coach one-on-one, they might love me, but half the time they probably hate me. I've had their team leaders will call me and be like, hey, I want to charge your partner double rent because I'm pretty sure they sleep in their office. And I'm like, perfect, I'm doing my job. That's the habit I want you guys to get into, staying at the office until you set that one appointment per day. So like I said, even if it takes 10, 20, or 50 calls, don't stop calling until you have the appointment. I'll let you snap your photo. Okay, so a common question is, who am I going to call? How am I going to get the appointment? I want you guys, at the very least, while you're physically in here today, and hopefully going forward, to rid both thoughts from your mind and just focus on why you want the appointment. Who in here has taken Bold? I love this office. So same thing with Bold, focusing on your big why, and not just your personal big why, but why you want to up your listings, because listings bring what?
Buyers.
And what else?
Money.
And I'm like, Immortal Pollo Loco, I'll never let that go. So step 2, and this one I love when sometimes I do this as a Zoom call and I can't see people's reaction and it bums me out. I love sharing this one because people's face always look at me like, again, get her out of my office. So step 2, visit one for sale by owner or expired door each day. Who's doing this already? Not everybody all at once. I'm going to assume you're eating your chicken. You're all doing this. You are. You are.
I do it, but not every day.
Okay, okay. So we all know, because obviously there's multiple people in here that are taking at least one listing a month. So we all know you can build a big business without knocking for sale by owners or expireds daily. However, what would your business look like if you were putting yourself in the path of opportunity face to face? Those of you that have taken Bold, and I'm sure you've heard this in your market center even if you haven't taken Bold, for sale by owners and expireds are doing what? Both hands in the air. They want to sell their home. For sale by owners have one hand of I want to sell my home, but I'm kind of a ding-dong and I don't know if I want to pay an agent, right? And expireds have both hands in the air of I want to sell my home and I'm willing to pay. So, I love this slide. So, I always giggle. Who in here is a regular door knocker? A couple of you. And if you're not regular, who in here has at least attempted door knocking? Have any of you guys, like myself, I've been there, been door knocking, and you see a for sale by owner sign, and you have that mental battle. You're standing in the street and you're like, I should knock it. I should do it. I should do it. You're like, nope, tomorrow. There's one cloud in the sky, it might rain, I have to go home. Or like, oh shoot, I forgot to walk Scruffy or do my laundry. You go go through every reason of why you should not knock this for sale by owner. And then you get to that point where you're like, they're probably watching me from the window. Now I really can't knock because now I'm having a self-conversation in the middle of the friggin' street. So you leave. So you tiptoe around the for sale by owner, you hit the other doors, or you just completely leave. Who's been there? I'm like this girl, yeah. Not you? You hit him? Every
I
time?
go and hit him.
Good, 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 good. So I'll ask you to share, if you don't mind, at the end, if you have anything that I don't cover. And same goes for everybody else. So what this picture exemplifies here is who has been in the position, and I know I sure as heck have, literally on my own street, who has been in the position where you drive around the corner and you see that for sale sign on a for sale by owner lawn, but it's an actual listing by an agent. Has anybody been there? You put it off, and then you drive by and you're like, it happened. It happened. And then your next comment is, Mom, I have told you that I sell real estate. Am I right? Have you guys been there? So doubt, it's not a matter that you guys don't want to do it. It's a matter of not being sure if you can. And the one thing I want you guys, if you're taking notes, to write this down, think about how many freaking ding-alongs, I don't know why I keep saying that word, I don't know what that word is, but how many freaking ding-alongs are in this industry who just list homes left and right. It's like, why not you, right? How many of you have been on the buyer side when you're calling ding-along number 1 and ding-along number 2, and they either don't answer, or ding-along 1's like, yeah, call ding-along 2, and you're like, okay. You call ding-along 2, and they're like, call ding-along 1, and you're like, how did these incompetent freakazoids get this listing? Why not me? And that's what I want you guys to walk away with today. So bear with me, this slide I have to read verbatim, because unless we're talking 2.5%, 3%, 6%, I'm not a math girl. So with that said, the reason why we aim for you guys to set a listing appointment every day is 30 days in a month, 22 working days in a month, so set 22 appointments a month. 5 or 6 fall out, primarily because you guys are using a pre-qualification script. You don't want to waste their time, and you sure as all hackers don't want to waste your own. And that leaves you with 14 to 16 appointments. So who in here is confident if you went on 14 listing appointments this month, you could convert at least 5? This guy. Good, 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 good. Whenever, I taught this before where everybody's just like, and I'm like, oh, no one, okay, that's bizarre. So great. So I want to share a story with you guys. Well, disregard this one, but what this slide is supposed to be brake marks on the street, so skid marks on the street. So this story is about one of Cody Gibson's MAPS clients when he was a MAPS coach. So one of his MAPS clients, Cody and him he was coaching him on taking more listings. And they went down the expired and for sale by owner avenue because he was determined to take 10 listings every month. And that just was not coming to fruition via his sphere, via referrals. So Cody then told, we'll use the name Charlie, Cody then told Charlie, hey, I need you this weekend to go knock a for sale by owner. You told me you're running into hardship with your family, you need more money, so what are you going to do? So Charlie called him that Sunday morning and said, you know what, Cody, I kind of hate you today, but I love my family, I'm going to go knock that for sale by owner. So he went and knocked the for sale by owner. Does anybody want to guess what amazing script he had? No, he didn't. He literally just said, hey, here's my card, I'm a real estate agent, call me if you need anything. Scurried back to his car. That's better than what? Not knocking. Oh my God, I love you guys. You're so participating. Exactly. So as he's going back to his car, the homeowner was like, wait, you're a realtor? And he was like, yeah, I think so. That's what they tell me. And she was like, you know, I'm actually ready to interview agents to sell my home. Got the listing. Like, are you freaking kidding me? We have somebody, kind of a side tangent, somebody who is in our region, in our organization that I coach. The other day, he was like, what should I say to an expired at the door? And I was like, just go. See what they say to you, and then we'll work on that later. Because, yeah, I know what he could and should say, but it's not the point. Just go. He's like, they weren't there, so I left my card. And I'm like, okay, at least he got to the door. The next day, he calls me, and he goes, oh my God! And I'm like, what? You killed somebody. And he was like, they called me. They want to interview agents. They called me. I'm the only agent that came to their door. Let that sink in. The only agent that came to their door. So many people aren't, so why not you? Whoa.
Can you slow down a little bit?
I'm just really hungry, you guys, so I'm trying to speed through. I don't even know how I did that. Well, now you guys are getting all the steps early. Bear with me.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah. Cover your eyes, guys. Okay.
That's it.
Good old eraser. Good placeholder. So the idea behind the eraser is if you guys erase, you have to replace. So you take a day off. You don't set that one appointment that day. Then the next day you set two. Again, this is habit stacking. So if you're taking notes, write this down. No one starts at the top. Who in here feels like they're a pretty successful agent? It's okay, nobody will judge. Cool, you're also humble. Did you guys wake up a successful agent on your first day? Yes. I was gonna say, don't say yes. You can get out.
It's the exception.
I was gonna say, there's always one person that's like, well, yeah. Well, yeah. So again, like I mentioned earlier, just show up and be in the way of good things to happen. Because again, for sale by owners have one hand in the air that they want to sell. They're not sure they want to pay an agent because again, ding-alongs. I hope that word sticks with you guys. And next is expireds have both hands in the air. They want to sell and they're willing to pay. I'll let you guys snap a photo.
What?
If you get me in it, don't tag me. I swear, people always manage to get me where I'm like, and I'm like, that's perfect, thank you. Put that on my business card, please. Okay, so step 3. This one I love because it's so simple and people are always like, okay, like, that's a step, really? This one I can't stress enough. Who in here, raise your hand, if your calendar looks something like, I'm gonna prospect, you know, Monday through Friday, 9 to 11. Or 7 to 8, whatever that looks like. What's yours? You're shaking your head like I'm crazy.
I don't have a good calendar.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's a good tip, I'm sorry.
We're pushing this luck on that one.
Yeah. So the reason I stress follow-up Wednesdays and the reason why I incorporate your calendar is I can speak to it in the agent role, I can speak to it in this role. The more clarity your calendar has, you guys will hear this in bold, I always rolled my eyes at it until I did it. The more clarity your calendar has, where it's not just prospect, you know, 7 a.m. until 9 a.m. or 9 until 11, whatever your calendar looks like. But if it's prospect for sale by owners from this time to this time, door knock expires from this time to this time, I promise the second you even tweak your calendar to reflect specifics, you're going to feel like a weight lifted off your chest. I promise. So with that said, step 3 is follow-up Wednesdays. So following up on old leads, 3 to 6 or 12 weeks pass, and don't overthink this. This can literally just be, just wanted to call and follow up, and you end the call with, I'm going to follow up. Do you guys think that was written by Gary Keller himself, or where we came up with that magic? I don't know. But it can be as simple as something like that. And I have a story with this as well. So if you guys are taking notes, please write this down. There are no bad leads. There's only unmotivated people that you're calling a lead. Not saying discount them, say in front of everybody, but don't get in that mindset of, oh, all my leads are bad.
Unmotivated.
Yes, who said that? Oh, I was like, voices are coming out of the walls here. So again, like I mentioned earlier, if you're taking notes, I would write this down. We often give up before they're ready. I can't tell you how many people I've coached that build such a big pipeline and it doesn't come into fruition when they'd like it to, and they're like, I'm out of the industry. And I'm like, no, you are like the nectar from the gods. Like, you will be the next Danica Costa. Give it another month. What are you doing, you crazy beast? Happens all the time. So this is actually another Charlie story. This is I don't know the coaching client's name. I use Charlie as a placeholder. This is a true Charlie. He is in our hub in Portland, Oregon. He is our top listing agent, Charlie Kimberly with Portland Real Estate Group, our sister company. He shared a story with Cody, and Cody shares it every year at family reunion. He had a for sale by owner that he literally called for 15 weeks, no answer. And on week, I would say 14, 15, he got a call back and the guy was like, I'm sorry, I've been blowing you off. You're clearly motivated, you're clearly determined, come list my house. What would your life look like then? All you did was leave some voicemails. He didn't have to do a listing appointment. He just showed and just put himself in front of the way of great things to happen. Another story, same with Charlie. He had another one, I don't know how many weeks this is, but it was, I would say 24 or 25 months, so about 2 years that he was calling it for sale by owner, just calling. Most of the time the guy wouldn't answer. It was so long that the rest of Portland Real Estate Group, the rest of the hub, it became like a game to them. They were like, okay, we're gonna call that Fitz, but that guy don't want to answer you, or who's gonna call him today? Finally, after 2 years plus, called Charlie back and was like, okay, you're my guy, I'm done blowing you off. So he keep yourself in front of good things to happen. These people have their hands in the air. So who in here was here for my social media class? Oh, really? I was going to say, I recognize you, yeah. Awesome. So you guys will recognize this from my social media class. So step 4 is publishing one I have a buyer post per week. Anybody do this currently? Even if it's not weekly, are you guys putting out there when you have buyers to pick up potential listings? So what this looks like is it can be Facebook, it can be Instagram, it can be wherever. We found and studies show that a lot of business does come from Facebook and Instagram primarily. And again, referencing bold, the brain likes specifics. So you're going to want to be as specific as possible. So that's going to look like I'm working with Mr. and Mrs. X. They just got a new dog who needs a yard. They just had a baby and they need to buy a bigger home. Whatever that looks like, the brain likes specifics. One other thing I recommend, which I'll show you guys in a second, is getting as specific as showing the home type that they're looking for. Paint a picture for those potential sellers. Paint a picture for those people that may refer you to the potential sellers. The idea behind this is, yes, one, you may actually find the home for your buyer. Has anybody connected the dots that way on social media? Yeah, there's always one. Good. However, if you don't connect the dots, what else are you doing? Does anybody have an idea? You're showing the public that you have what?
Buyers.
Exactly. So that when Mr. Seller wants to list their home, they're going to think, what's your name?
Ken.
They're going to say, I'm going to call Ken because he's working with all the buyers. So here's an example. It's something that I don't want you guys to overthink. However, what I recommend, and I stress this in my social media class, is that your posts look pretty much the same each time. The only thing that changes is the home type and the information about your clients. Does anybody, if you guys were in my social media class, remember, I reference patterns when I talk about my just listed and just sold. Do you guys remember that reference? The brain remembers patterns enough that they're not even necessarily reading I have a buyer in the specs. They're just thinking, oh my God, Ken has another buyer. Like, how does he do this? He's a freaking robot. You guys get where I'm going with that? I share a story in my social media class, kind of a side tangent, but to better paint the picture for you, I decided 2 years ago when I was an assistant team leader, I had a slump in my business, and I had 3 outbound referrals. And I went to my team leader and I was like, I don't have any sales to post this month. I'm co-leading an office and I look like that demoing I always make jokes about. What do I do? And then a light bulb came on and I was like, I'm going to take those referral deals with permission from the listing agent and I'm going to mark them sold, the same way I marked mine sold. Literally one of them said Atlanta, Georgia. The caption said, thank you to Agent X and Keller Williams, Atlanta, da-da-da-da-da-da. My own mother called me and was like, oh my God, 3 closings this week, you're on fire. And I was like, Mom, that's Uncle John's house, it's your brother, you've been there. It says Atlanta, Georgia, so it just shows whether it be just listed, in escrow, just sold, I have a buyer, people don't necessarily read it. What I do recommend when you guys are putting text on a post, those of you that were in my social media class, you've heard this before, adding white space. The idea behind white space is it's going to slow their scroll, so it's going to, 1, catch their attention longer, 2, it's just more aesthetically pleasing. When it looks like somebody copied and pasted the dictionary, are you guys like, yes, I want to read this post? Probably not, I hope not. So step 5, every seller, every week.
What was it? Every seller, every week?
Every seller, every week. And I'll dive into what that means. So if you guys are taking notes, I would write this down. If not, definitely lock it in internally. So never prepare for the market you're in. Always prepare for the market you're going into. You guys don't have to raise your hand, because I know I've been there and I know it's not the greatest feeling. How many of you guys don't start preparing for a shift until you're starting to feel the market shift, and then you're like, oh, I should probably change up what I'm doing. So the idea behind this is to do the opposite of that, preparing before you get there. So about 80% of agents, 1 of 5 agents, know what it's like to sell in this market. Who in here has been in the real estate business for over 10 years? Okay, so the rest of us, myself included, are like, what in the heckers is going on, right? So prepare, and who in here, again, side tangent, has read shift? Well, he's like, ooh, you guys should absolutely, can't be the only one. Absolutely read shift. We are in a shifting market, so I cannot stress it enough. So every seller, every week. What that means is Cody's rule of 2 by 1 and the rule of 3. So 2 by 1 means 2 different contacts each week. The first can be text or email, and the other 2 is voice to voice. Every 3rd week, the seller has to meet at your office. So what that looks like, and I know a lot of people are like, I don't have time for them to meet me in my office, that's crazy, again, get her out of here. When you're taking listings, if you have any hesitance to say, we're gonna meet at the 3rd week in my office every week until it sells, if that gives you like heart palpitations or something wild, you're probably overpricing the home, am I right? Because if the home doesn't sell within 3 weeks, you're probably having what conversation with your seller? Exactly. I love this one though, because even if you are pricing the home a little high because you have that ding-a-ling seller, they probably don't want to come into your office every 3 weeks either, right? So use that as leverage of, hey, you have to come back, let's get the home reduced. So price reductions aside, this is the idea behind it. So 2, whether it be text, email, and then, or 1, whether it be text and email, and then 2, voice to voice. And then 3rd week, the seller has to meet at your office. So what that conversation looks like is just what you're gonna do to get their home sold going forward. If you guys wanna snap a picture of that or write that down. So the conversation would be as simple as, every 3rd week I want you to meet at my office, go figure. So you guys wanna stay in touch with sellers. And I know this is a no-brainer. However, I can speak to it, people I've coached, people I've mentored, friends in the industry, when I'll say, like, what's going on with 123 Main Street? And they're like, oh shoot, I should probably call that guy. And I'm like, oh, I can call him for you. What? So every potential seller or current seller needs to hear from you weekly. I hope that's not mind-blowing for you guys. You work hard for your listings, so you definitely want to not throw them away. Step 6. FSBO deals if you must. Who in here has listed a for sale by owner? That it? Yeah. Cool. Cool. Can I ask you guys what was your tactic like? Were you cold calling them? Did you door knock them? Meet them organically? Go ahead.
Drove by and saw his sign, but he didn't even have a for sale by owner sign. He had an old post from a real estate agent from before. No sign in it. So I knew he had tried to sell it before. So when I went to him, he's like, I want to sell by myself, whatnot. I said, well, I could probably cut all the hassle out for you, make it easy. And that was the selling point.
Awesome. How quickly after that did you take the listing?
Probably like a week or 2 later.
Wow. You guys hear that? Like how simple that conversation is? Just a simple, I can save you some hassle. Like, not like he had to go like to the ends of the earth to find that line. What about you for your for sale by owner?
Well, I just talked to him like, because I was in a for sale by owner.
Okay.
Tried to for sale by owner a bunch of property as a.
You're not a ding-a-ling?
As a lender. And I found out that I can net more in my pocket if I have an agent expose it on the MLS. And so I wasn't concerned about much more than my net in my pocket.
Sure.
And so that's what I talked to them about. They'll net more.
Sure.
If they use an agent.
And I assume you lead with the story of, hey, I've been in your shoes, and then here's what. I love that. I love that. Awesome. So FSBO deals if you must. Typically, when I get to step 6, somebody will raise their hand and cut off the presentation. They'll be like, I'm not reducing my commission, get out. I'm not talking about reducing your commission. I'm talking about, and seek your broker's permission on this before you do anything wild. I'm talking about getting creative with a FSBO deal. So again, seek permission, better to say please than say sorry. I love your broker and I don't want him to hate me. So if you're short of the goal, do whatever it takes to get there, including FSBO deals. So again, habit stacking. The idea here is to get in the habit of taking 10 listings in a month, and over time they will become 10 great listings. So some ideas for you guys, some ideas that Cody used for himself, some things that I've used for myself. One that Cody had prominent success with was literally listing a home for the week. So what that conversation looked like was, hey, Mrs. Seller, thanks so much for letting me list your home for the week. I'm going to list it from, we'll say, Monday through Sunday. Or Monday through Monday. Come Monday morning, you're not satisfied with my services, I don't have a buyer for you, we can wipe our hands clean and walk away. What do you think happened come Monday majority of the time? They ended up staying with him. They said, hey, I see you hustling, I see you doing your thing, you haven't gotten the buyer yet, but let's keep the contract going. You worked for this, I get it. That I can speak to for myself, from people I've coached. I've had some agents, another way you can get creative with for sale by owners, I've had some agents part of my team with a FSBO that won't budge, and then they'll say, you know what, let's do an open listing agreement. That way I can market your home, and at the very least, I'm protected if I bring the buyer. She didn't have any listings at the time. In fact, she didn't have any listings ever, so what she did was door knock the neighborhood, treat it like a normal listing, and he was like, you know what, you're a friggin' hustler. If anybody's gonna get my home sold, it's you. Let's do a formal listing. So don't be afraid to get creative. 2 things that I'll share, one that worked very well for myself, and one that worked very well for another regional director of ours, is the one for me, and this is something you guys could easily implement today, is if you guys print a bulk of disclosures, I recommend printing like every disclosure under the sun. Even if you don't know that the home you're visiting, if the lead-based paint disclosure is applicable to them, you're gonna bring that bad chicken and you're gonna stack them all up so it looks like a dictionary of disclosures. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull up to the home of the for sale by owner, you're gonna leave your car running, you're gonna leave your car door open, you're gonna have music playing. I know this sounds crazy, people are always like, do you want to dance with the for sale by owner? What are you going to do? So you just want to paint the picture that you have somewhere to be. So what that conversation looks like is you get out of your car, go to their door, knock, knock, knock. Hey, I'm Elizabeth Kammen, Keller Williams Realty, just want to introduce myself to you. I'm actually on the way to an appointment, hence the music, car door open, you're kind of, looking like you got to run. Even if your appointment is you're going to go get some chicken nuggets at McDonald's, you're going to an appointment, okay? So, hey, I'm going to an appointment, I wanted to give you these. I want you to review them. Call me if anything looks frightening to you. I'm sure it will. You'll eventually need these. Great meeting you. And then silence. Again, bold reference. Let the silence do the heavy lifting. Kind of gauge them from there. So that way you're not going into an appointment with every dingling under the sun. You're going to gauge their reaction from there. Can you guys guess what you would do if they aren't home? Not a trick question.
Come back another break.
So what I suggest is, what'd you say? Break in? This is recording. So what I suggest is if they're not home, you're gonna look at their precious little for sale by owner sign and you're gonna call them on the phone. I am a big advocate in leading with humor when I teach and in sales. So what you're gonna do to gauge their personality, if they're rude at this, you probably don't wanna work with this ding-a-ling anyways. So you're gonna call them and say, hey, Mr. For Sale by Owner, I'm just curious, I'm outside your house, wanted to meet with you, bring by some disclosures that might be of value to you. With that being said, if you're not home and you're at work or wherever you are, how do you expect to get your home sold? And again, silence. The right ones, it'll be the icebreaker. They'll totally laugh and they'll be like, okay, this chick's funny. The wrong ones will be like, I have a freaking job, you idiot. Forget that. Another couple of points I want to make. So this one people always look at me like I'm crazy when I share this, but one of our regional directors had big success with this. It's something that I wish I knew when I was still actively selling. Is when you do an open house with a for sale by owner, keep them there. Sounds weird, right? Because how many of you have shown that? Yeah, you're like, is she crazy? How many of you have taken the listing where your seller's like, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to point out every feature and benefit, and you're like, to heck you are not. You guys have that listing where the seller just does not want to leave, they want to share everything? Or when you show a home for your buyer and the seller's like, oh, hello, has my agent told you that we have these floors from 1975? And you're like, what? Why would you share that? Like, just weird. You just want the sellers gone. For a for sale by owner open house, I always recommend having them physically there with you. Why? One, they're stuck to become your friend for the next 3 hours. So you hopefully, a lot of us are good in person, I hope, right? So you're going to build rapport with them, hopefully, ideally. They're also going to see you at work, and they're going to see how hard you're trying to convert these buyers. They're going to see you in professional mode. They're going to take you more serious as Elizabeth, the agent, rather than the person that has commission breath and is trying to get paid left and right. Do you guys get where I'm going with that? So the one thing I want you to keep in mind as well is it's a great time for you to pick up buyers, so you're going to want it to be open house with them regardless. Build rapport with them. They're going to see you in action, and keep in mind, I guess you could get, in this case, a little unlucky. The buyers that come through probably aren't going to purchase the for sale by owner's house anyways, right? So there you go with that. And then last is a common objection for sale by owners is, well, my agent friend said that they may have, Bob Smith wants to buy my home, or my neighbor down the street, they talked about their daughter living on the same street as them, it's so cute. Freaking list that sucker anyways. All you have to do is get a list of excluded names. It's not that hard. That's something we overthink all the time. So, one more coaching story. So this is somebody that Cody was coaching. Has anybody, I know not many of you are familiar with Cody. Has anybody talked to Cody over the phone, face to face, taken bold with him?
No.
Intimidating son of a gun, let me tell you. So he is very, I love him to death, but he is very, if you tell him, Cody, my commitment for the month is 10, you can take 9 great listings and he will make sure that you know you did not hit your commitment, I promise you. So the story I have for you guys is Cody had a coaching client, and it was about the 25th, 26th of the month, and he called Cody and he said, hey, I have 8 listings, however, I want to hit 10. And Cody said, yeah, you need to. That was your commitment, so what's the plan? And he said, well, I'm going to go through my database. There may be one more that I can churn. I don't know about 2. And Cody said, well, get off the phone with me, go find your 2. So 2 days later, he calls Cody and he was like, okay, man, I have 9. And Cody's like, okay, super, air high five. That's not your commitment. You committed to 10. So what's the plan for today? And he was like, I have no freaking idea. I'll get back to you. So what he did was the next day, Cody gets a call from his client's wife, and he said, hey, Cody, I don't know what the heck you and Bob are doing with this coaching gig of yours, but why is Bob's for sale sign in our yard? And Cody just starts laughing. So you guys get where I'm going with that. He literally listed his own home because it's habit stacking. So an unhappy wife got the message of, no, it's okay, I've listed it for twice of what it's worth, just like half the FISBOs out there, it's not going to sell. Took it off the market within 2 or 3 days, but he did it because he was committed to hitting 10. So another one, and the last step, another one that many people roll their eyes at because it's so simple, but so many of us don't do it. Has anybody else, like me, been that person that last minute for your listing appointment, you're driving there and you're like, okay, my name's Elizabeth. Okay, the company I work for is Color Gloves. Okay, I won't screw that up. Okay, I'm here to list their house. That's right. You're just like frantically like, okay, and then like you're just all over the friggin' place. Has anybody been in that position?
No.
Just me. Like here I am up here, that's terrifying.
Never can.
So has anybody been in the position where you're just scripting last minute, or
Yes.
you know you have to script and you're like, okay, I'm going to do it for 4 hours on Friday? Why do we do that to ourselves? That's freaking crazy. You're not going to retain the same. So what I encourage is, oh, these are out of order. What I encourage is at least 10 to 15 minutes every single day. So if you're taking notes, I'd write this down or I'd take a nifty picture. An amateur will practice until he gets it right, and a professional will practice until they cannot get it wrong. So a ton of us, our practice is our listing appointment. Has anybody been there where you're on a listing appointment and somehow like a sentence from the heavens comes out and you're like, shoot, hold on, Mr. Seller, I want to write that down. That was gold. Like that should not happen. Or you're like, wait, can you text me that later? Like that was amazing. You're gonna sign now because of that, right? Like it shouldn't be like that. And who's been in the position where you're kind of scripted in the sense of you stay on track, but as they're talking, you can't even hear what they're saying because you're like, what am I gonna say next? What? Oh, that's right. Okay, objection handle number 3. Okay, like have you guys been there? And you're like, I'm sorry, what did you say? And they're like, I told you where I'm moving to, you dingus. Like you don't want to be that agent. So does anybody remember this play? One of you? Okay. Oh, like there's Ben in the room, and I hope some ladies in here like football.
Infamous.
So I show you this because the idea behind practice versus play is when you guys are giving a presentation, it shouldn't be your practice. So again, practice 1 time each week for 35 or 40 minutes. The other reason why I reference sports is those sports fanatics in here, you may know this. You guys know that when athletes practice, they practice to win. So it's the same way, like they practice where, you know, they fumble, bad things happen, whatever sport we're talking about, sure. It's not like all peachy keen when they practice. However, they don't practice where they don't score. Do you guys get where I'm going with that? So when you guys are script practicing, I'm not saying like take it super easy on Ken and be like, I'm not going to throw him a single objection handler because he has to win. No, throw him out there, but role play and practice to get the listing, to take the listing. Because again, it switches your mindset and it changes it into a habit. You're used to taking listings at that point. So has anybody heard the analogy of, or the comparison of, if you went to go get brain surgery tomorrow and the surgeon was like, you know, I've never practiced this before, but like, I'm all in. Like, it'll just be a little snip across the spine, but like, I got it. You know, like I YouTubed this, or you know, I thought about spine surgery for my 20-minute drive to the hospital, we're good. Would anybody be like, yeah,
No.
sign me up? No. But so many of us are practicing real estate surgery by just winging it. So I'm going to review the 7 steps. After this, I'm going to give you guys a quick little tidbit about our team. Very, very quick, since I know you guys are here primarily for 7 steps. However, it is my shameless plug. And then I'll answer any questions. I'll give you guys my card so that you can get a copy of the slides. I'll just ask you guys to email me for a copy. So step 1, make 1 listing appointment each day. 2, visit 1 for sale by owner or expired listing each day. 3, follow up Wednesdays. 4, one of my favorites, post 1, I have a buyer message per week. Step 5, every seller every week. And again, keep in mind, again, if you guys have any hesitance telling a seller we're going to meet every 3 weeks, you may be listing the property a little too high. Number 6, do for sale by owner deals if you must. So again, does not have to regard commission. Seek confirmation from your broker on what you decide to do, but do not be afraid to get creative if they approve it. And then 7, practice the presentation weekly. So if you guys want to get a picture of this, I'll write down 7stepsdownloads.wordpress.com. UHG, United Home Group, and Cody in particular especially like to come from contribution, so you can get our seller survey and agent interview used by Cody. I will share with you guys, when we first got these pieces, we didn't make them, they were from Diana Kokoska. So we had partners, when we were a brand new team, we had partners going around with these materials branded to Diana Kokoska, because we didn't even think to R&D. So make sure that you guys make note when you download these, they're branded to us. So, I mean, by all means, go to every listing appointment with our branding if you would like, but tweak them before you do. And then anybody, I'm going to kind of run through our team very, very quickly, like I said. If it catches anybody's attention, you can give me your card, I'll call you, or you can visit this website, uhgconnect.com/SoCal. So we are the largest and fastest growing expansion team across the country. I spearhead most of Southern California for Cody. So to give you guys a quick snippet on our value prop, we do have one-on-one coaching, which is with myself weekly. We have listing coordinators, which is similar to a TC. They do a little bit more hands-on, scheduling photos, scheduling inspections if applicable, getting your sign in the ground, etc. Business cards, TCs, Commissions Inc. website. Is anybody familiar with Commissions Inc.? Yeah? Okay. I'm just going to say there's always at least one. To me, truthfully, it is like the Rolls-Royce of CRM systems. We also pay for our agents to have inbound leads on Commissions Inc. through Google and Facebook pay-per-click ads. We have somebody that handles your 33 touch, so custom emails from you to your sphere of influence. Like I said, for sales sign, open house signs, marketing, your web management, and then we have a call center. This is something I know my partners offhand don't utilize enough. One of my partners that utilize this weekly is literally on appointment today at 3 p.m. set by the call center. So they will call around every just listed, in escrow or just sold for you, and you can ask them to call around for your buyer. They can call around, if you get permission, somebody else's listing to hopefully find a buyer, and also call around for your upcoming open house. So I will leave this up. It's my last little shameless plug for our team. Does anybody have, doesn't have to be about the team, does anybody have any questions in general? Or anything they want to share? Do you guys have anything, success stories towards for sale by owners and expireds, or just say listings in general that I might not have covered?
I have one question.
Sure. Might don't everybody jump
Maybe
over.
appropriate, maybe not. Have you ever heard of a company called Compass?
Mm-hmm.
I had a listing in near Pasadena, and like 8 of my 10 offers came from Compass, all over the country. What, are they like an expansion team, like you guys?
No, I mean, Compass is all over the country the same way KW is. So same way KW is. I don't know if they have expansion teams, because we're still KW. So Cody, our CEO, he's actually the operating principal of where his hub is, so in Portland. He's also the OP of, I believe, Phoenix. So we just expanded to different Keller Williams offices as like a team. Those might just be different Compass agents would be my guess, but I'm not entirely sure. Any other questions?
How can you find people besides social media?
Good question. Good question.
marketing?
So technically, you guys can sift through Zillow. It's tedious as all heck. As you guys know, with your own listings, there's typically a delay for them to appear on Zillow. Half the time, the information's inaccurate, or half the time, it's that lovely message of like, don't call me. So I found, again, through coaching others and through myself, we kind of get more in our head when we see the message of like, don't call me, I'll never pay a realtor. What we do in United Home Group is we provide our agents with land voice. similar to like Mojo and RedX for anybody that's used that, or those of you that have used LandVoice. So it will pull the for sale by owners, expireds, pre-foreclosures, and agents with us, they get call fire as our auto dialer. So our hub daily, if you guys say, hey, I want Palmdale, I want Acton, and I want Lancaster for sale by owners and expireds uploaded daily, the hub will put it on your call fire so that you can call through daily. So you can purchase your own tools on your own as a solo agent, or if you're on a team, have a team. So some sources would be LandVoice, Mojo, RedX. It's a lot easier than digging through on Zillow. Any other questions? All right. Does anybody want to take my card so you can shoot me an email, I'll send you the slides?
Yes.
Okay, cool. We'll grab those. Thank you for being a repeat attendee.